is going on, guys? JD from New York here. This is WWE Off The Script. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We are now 29 episodes in. Part number 1 to start your weekend off the right way, right here on YouTube.com. This is for your week ending September 7th, 2014. Thank you guys for joining me. I love Off The Script. I love coming on here every single week to give you guys the best news and rumors anywhere on YouTube.com. We don't write our own storylines here, man. We don't write our own news and rumors and spawn it off as something that is exclusive and detailed. We don't do that here, man. I take my news from credible sources and I relay it back to you guys, and we discuss WWE every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I love doing this. 29 episodes. I remember doing this shit when it was just WWE Week in Review, News and Rumors. I was doing that. I needed a nice name to build my channel around, build my brand of WWE news around. Off The Script has been that. Thank you guys for all the support. I'm glad that you are enjoying it, and I want to continue to make this grow. And speaking of growing, I'm doing that with Joe Cronin. Joe is doing his own thing on his YouTube channel. He's growing very, very well at a very nice pace. He's going in the right direction. And I chose him for my podcast partner. All right, you all know this. If you guys have been, in tune with what's going on here, Joe is my podcast partner. I look forward to working more and more and more with him in the future on several different projects. I needed a name that's going to get us over. He's the right guy. He's got a commanding voice. When he talks, you listen. He knows what he's talking about. He's knowledgeable. And I think all that wrapped into one is going to build this partnership up to the next level. The only thing that we were missing is a name. I needed something honest, something truthful, something catchy, something funny, something people are going to remember. And I think I came up with something. He loves it. I love it. We're going forward with it. The new name for the podcast with JD and Joe Cronin is We Watch Wrestling. That's it. It works. I think that's a name to build around. 2 guys, and it's going to work. I needed something with identity. I think that's it. We Watch Wrestling with JD and Joe Cronin. With 2 shows in, we're thinking about doing a third right before Night of Champions to talk about that, preview, predictions, our thoughts and opinions on everything leading into Night of Champions, and that's going to happen right before the pay-per-view. Hopefully, we get some time off and we can work together on that. I will let you guys know when that possibly will happen. If you're not following me on Twitter, Twitter is the best place to reach out to me, at JD from NY206. Also, if you guys missed my Monday Night Raw review, I did do a Monday Night Raw review. You guys asked for it. I delivered. Nice little 20-minute rant on why the WWE product right now is absolutely dreadful. It is unwatchable. It became unwatchable to the point that I turned on Lifetime for Women. Yes, Lifetime for Women, and watched Saved by the Bell, the unauthorized story according to Dustin Diamond, a.k.a. Screech, and his autobiography. That's how bad Monday Night Raw was. When the main event came on, I shut Monday Night Raw off because I was just done. I was done with it, so I ranted about it on my review. If you guys missed that, you missed out. All right, it was classic. Go check that out. Link is down below in the description of this video. If you missed Off The Script last weekend, various topics regarding Cena, Lesnar, Reigns, everything you guys need to know regarding WWE news and rumors, go check that out. Link is down below as well. And finally, Labar, Eisenberg, Ghoulish, Chairshot Reality at WrestleZone.com, your #1 talk show on the internet when it comes to professional wrestling. They have a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday schedule just like I do here on Off The Script. In fact, it was Labar's idea for me to do every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Whether I cut it down or not, I don't know. He said make it shorter. I like it longer. You guys like it longer, so we're keeping it like that. But go check those guys out over there, WrestleZone.com, Chairshot Reality. Go show them some love. They definitely deserve it. And tell them JD from NY sent you over there, all right? Now, I got possible leaked outcomes for Night of Champions. For John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, at Night of Champions for the WWE Championship, all right? These two scenarios I talked about with Joe, I talked about on my Monday Night Raw review. They're the only two courses of action that the WWE logically has if they want to end this pay-per-view, okay? There's no other way around it. You're not going to have Cena. This is the one thing that cannot happen. John Cena cannot win the WWE Championship. WWE cannot go into panic mode here and give Cena the belt back because they're worried about ratings, they're worried about merchandise, they're worried about the face of the company looking weak. Fuck that. Fuck that. It's about time Lesnar gets his shot. It's about time John Cena takes a step back and just kind of watches in the distance from now on. There's no reason for him to be WWE Champion. He doesn't need the belt to be a #1 guy on WWE TV, okay? But the courses of action right now that are being discussed for Lesnar Cena at Night of Champions, they are as follows, all right? I talked about this one, outside interference. From who exactly, that has not been discussed as of yet. Obviously, the outside interference would cost John Cena the match. John Cena would then splinter off from Lesnar. He would break away from Lesnar and then enter a feud with that person who indeed interfered in that match, while Lesnar would defend against new challengers. Who that may be, we don't know. Scenario 2 would see Cena win the match, win the belt, but Seth Rollins would cash in afterwards and become the WWE Champion. Okay? Now, let's discuss this. The first one I want to discuss is Seth Rollins cashing in. That cannot happen. I don't think that's a logical reason to give Seth Rollins the WWE Championship, okay? You're not going to have him cash in because, and listen to this, okay? You guys may have forgot, you guys may not realize what Dean Ambrose has said in the past regarding this feud, but Seth Rollins is not going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase as long as Dean Ambrose is breathing, okay? Seth Rollins is not cashing that in because Dean Ambrose said, as long as I'm alive and breathing, as long as I'm there in the same arena as you, you are not cashing this thing in. I will be there every time you want to cash in to blow the fucking spot. Dean Ambrose said this himself, okay? That was part of the WWE storyline with those two. You're not going to have Seth Rollins cash in, especially if Dean Ambrose is going to be done filming his movie. There's rumors about him being at Night of Champions because at that point, the filming of this movie that he's in will be done. He will be at Night of Champions in some way, shape, or form. If he is indeed there, if he's on the card, you're not going to have Seth Rollins cash in as long as Dean Ambrose is in the building. It makes sense, all right? You're not going to, backtrack on the storyline that you created with those two because it would be illogical. WWE fans are not retarded, man. You hear that, Vince? You hear that, Triple H? We're not retarded. We remember what happens. We remember storylines and how they develop. You think we're retarded. You think we don't remember. You think we don't notice these things or hear these things. We do. We do. All right? Now, the one thing I think that should happen is, number one, outside interference. You make Lesnar look strong, all right? You have him destroy Cena for most of the match. You give Cena some spots in there where he can rally and, get the crowd behind him and, make sure that he doesn't look too weak. But he's been feuding with Triple H. He's been getting into it with Triple H. These stare downs and, this authority against John Cena and not wanting him to be WWE Champion. They were all over him for winning the belt at Money in the Bank. Obviously, Triple H was happy when Lesnar beat Cena. So, why would Triple H want Cena to be successful in this rematch? It doesn't make sense. Triple H, I think, would be a logical choice for outside interference. Just throw himself in the match, interject in the match. Maybe they're building towards a John Cena vs. Triple H match for WrestleMania 31. It could happen. It was talked about in the past. It was talked about for WrestleMania 30 before they changed direction and gave Daniel Bryan the match with Triple H. It was talked about. It's not out of the realm of possibility, okay? But as far as that goes, option number one seems most likely because the entire point of Lesnar squashing Cena for the championship at SummerSlam, along with breaking The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak, is to promote him as an unstoppable force that WWE has never seen before. And I've said this how many videos in a row now, okay? It makes sense. Whether you like Lesnar or you fucking hate Lesnar, it makes sense. And you gotta book this the right way. You gotta book this with logical thought behind it, okay? So if Lesnar is built up as an unstoppable force, if he's unbeatable by WWE standards, okay, that means whoever can dethrone Lesnar would potentially become a star for life and the new face of the company, all right? I think it should be Daniel Bryan. People think it should be Roman Reigns, but I think it should be Daniel Bryan, okay? I just don't think Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar is logical. More than likely, Brock Lesnar is done with the WWE after WrestleMania, okay? He's done. He's not coming back. If the WWE wants to sign him to, again, another 2-year, 3-year deal with the same kind of money behind it, fantastic. I think Lesnar deserves all the money in the world because his name draws. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best athletes, the best pure athletes you will ever see on a WWE television program, in a WWE ring. Okay? Now, if Lesnar loses to Roman Reigns, I want you guys to think about this. One of my subscribers actually brought this up. Very, very good point. And again, logical. Okay? If Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and Brock Lesnar's done with the company, why wouldn't Lesnar be granted a title rematch as per clause in his contract? So, if Brock Lesnar is going to drop the title to Roman Reigns, okay, Roman Reigns is the WWE champion, can you guys physically see Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar twice? Think about that for a second. I want you guys to fucking think about that. And when I read this from Sean McKenzie, I think is my subscriber who mentioned this, beautiful fucking logical booking, logical thought, man. I love it. I love it. Lesnar drops the title to Roman Reigns. Lesnar is granted a rematch, right? Cena's getting his rematch at Night Champions. I can't see Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar 2 pay-per-views in a row. That would make Roman Reigns the greatest WWE superstar of all time. That would make Roman Reigns unbeatable in the eyes of everybody. Everyone. You can't have that happen. It's either you take the title off Lesnar now and you give it to somebody who the fans can really believe in, or you just keep the belt on Lesnar and just fucking have him retire with the belt. I just don't see any way the WWE can go around this. I brought up the idea of Lesnar holding the belt till Royal Rumble. Till Royal Rumble. Alright? I would love the fact that Bryan wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and wins. Okay? I would just love that. Bryan, one-on-one's not going to beat Lesnar. I know it's not logical, but he can win by some kind of outside interference. Okay? The same thing can happen there. I would love to see Bryan be that guy, the face of the company, the WWE champion, again, win the Rumble, go on to fight Lesnar. I think it would be one hell of a story to tell. David versus Goliath, I would love it. But if you don't want to go that route, okay, you can have Brock Lesnar hold the belt till Royal Rumble. And I mentioned this on Joe's podcast number 2. You can have Brock Lesnar hold the belt till Royal Rumble, drop it to The Rock. Drop the belt to The Rock, okay? Now, that would make The Rock the WWE champion. Rock would be champion going into WrestleMania. I would be okay with Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. I would be okay with Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. You want to book the Royal Rumble? You have Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose, the final 3 in the Royal Rumble. You have them just dominate the entire fucking match. It'll come down to those 3 at the end. It would be classic. The last time we seen something that magical happen at the Royal Rumble in the end was when Undertaker and HBK were the last two guys in the match. Okay? Unbelievable. And I'll go back and watch that at some point when the Rumble comes around, because that's my favorite ending to a Rumble ever. You're not going to have the caliber of superstar like Undertaker and HBK close the show, go an extra 20 minutes for the struggle to get to WrestleMania, and have it not be amazing. Unbelievable. If you want to have that same kind of magic, Reigns, Rollins, Ambrose, the last three. The struggle of three former members, three former brothers going at it for one spot in the main event at WrestleMania. I would be okay with Reigns winning that, proving himself above those two, winning it, going on to WrestleMania. Now you have The Rock and Roman Reigns possibly for WrestleMania 31. I would be okay. I would be okay with Reigns beating his cousin, The Rock, for the WWE Championship. It's more believable. I think it would do Roman Reigns a lot more than beating Brock Lesnar. This is The Rock we're talking about. His family, his blood. And The Rock has been stating that he wants to work with Roman Reigns in some way towards WrestleMania. There's no better way to have The Rock. And this, you know, I'm usually against The Rock being a WWE champion. And you guys are probably wondering, JD, you're probably out of your fucking mind. Why you want to give the belt to another part-timer after Lesnar is a part-timer? Because it's more believable, to me, to have Roman Reigns. If you're talking about Roman Reigns in a WWE Championship picture, a title reign for Roman Reigns, it's more believable if he beats The Rock. I just don't see him beating Brock Lesnar. And then Lesnar, obviously, Heyman's going to vouch for a fucking rematch. Clause in his contract, everyone gets a title rematch. You know? I just don't see Roman Reigns beating Lesnar 2 times in a row. It's illogical. I would be okay with The Rock. I would be okay with The Rock losing twice to Roman Reigns. I just don't see that with Lesnar. Great fucking point. Great idea to wrap your heads around and think about. All right? Now, Lesnar. Speaking of Lesnar, Lesnar now has a new contract with the WWE. There's not more years added onto it, but more dates on top of his current contract. He is now available for more dates, okay? This means that WWE can book him for Mondays and pay-per-views based on when the company feels that they need him. Of course, that means Brock gets paid extra if WWE chooses to use him on more dates. The agreement with Lesnar is that WWE is allowed to increase his dates on a pro-rated basis. I don't like this at all, and I'm going to tell you why. If Lesnar is on TV more and more and more, if Lesnar is on TV every week, every Monday Night Raw, every SmackDown, or SmackDown here and there, he doesn't necessarily need to be on SmackDown every week, but if he's on every Monday Night Raw, per this new contract, the value of the WWE title is going to go down. The mystique and the allure of Brock Lesnar is going to go down. And just the overall prestige of what he is doing, the showcase that is Brock Lesnar, it's not going to really be wanted as much as if he's away. And we don't even know he's there or he exists. We know he's the WWE champion, but, the WWE champion doesn't need to be on every show. He doesn't need to be at every house show. He doesn't need to defend the title every fucking month. It just doesn't need to happen. If you want to book him on Monday Night Raw, fine. 2 Monday Night Raws a month would do. You don't need him on 4. I don't like that. I like the mystique of Lesnar being away. Because when he comes back after an extended period away, you're like, oh shit, Brock Lesnar's here. What's going to happen now? There's really nobody on the roster that you could pair with Brock Lesnar besides John Cena. And after Night of Champions, John Cena is going to be a distant memory. Lesnar needs to win. Lesnar is going to win. People saying, JD, Randy Orton would be a nice opportunity for Brock Lesnar to have an opponent. No. If John Cena can't do it, what makes you think Randy Orton's going to do it? Sheamus, same thing. I would love to see the two get into it one-on-one. I think it would be a great fucking brawl. But it's not believable. Lesnar's going to eat him up for lunch. The reports of Kurt Angle coming back is probably the most intriguing, and I hope that does happen. It's got to be an outside source. It can't be anyone on the WWE main roster right now. Lesnar is built up to the point where you got him the streak, you got him the belt, you got him John Cena. All 3 of those things equal fucking unparalleled fucking power. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Everyone on the main roster is beneath Brock Lesnar. And it's WWE's fault. If WWE was, building up their guys, their superstars the right way, then maybe we could have had someone to challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. But WWE, caused this on their own. It's their own fault. Now, they are forced to look to outside sources, an Angle, a Rock, someone on the outside, a Batista. I don't know. But it can't be anyone. It won't be anyone on the current WWE roster. So, Brock Lesnar being booked extra Mondays, extra pay-per-views, I'm not for it. I liked his deal the way it was. I liked him showing up whenever he wants. If you bring him back, people are going to want to see him less, okay? Less is more, all right? I just don't understand WWE's, need to have the WWE champion on every show. What happened back in the day when guys like San Martino and Bob Backlund held the title for fucking 7 years? Was it a problem back then? I know there wasn't Monday Night Raw back then, but these guys held the belt for 7 fucking years. And when it actually came down to the point where these guys lost the belt, it was the biggest thing in the fucking sports world. That's what Brock Lesnar needs to do, man. When Brock Lesnar finally loses the belt, it needs to be historic. It needs to be epic. It needs to be monumental. With him on TV every week, that mystique and allure I mentioned before, it's just going to decrease. The demand to see Brock Lesnar, the want, the desire to see Brock Lesnar is not going to be there. I don't know what WWE's thinking. They're worried. Especially with Monday Night Football, I don't see Brock Lesnar even helping the WWE with ratings. They need to book solid television. They need to get engaging storylines on Monday Night Raw for me to start watching, consistently through the 3 hours. It's painful. WWE is just not doing what they need to do right now. Very lazy. And now that Monday Night Football is back, now they want to, stack Monday Night Raw, steel cage matches, give Lesnar all these dates. Nothing's going to work, man. Nothing's going to work. You should be booking Monday Night Raw that way 52 Mondays a year. I don't give a fuck what's on. I don't give a fuck if Monday Night Football is on all year. Pretend Monday Night Football is on all year. Book your Monday Night Raws with that kind of urgency and fucking, want and passion. Now because Monday Night Football is on, now you want to book Monday Night Raw the way it should be booked? Come on, man. Get with the fucking program. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, the script for the September 1st edition of Raw was leaked online. And for the most part, everything that you guys seen, everything that I watched, everything that you watched on that show was scripted. Usually it is, but even the promos from those high up the corporate ladder, Triple H, Stephanie, Chris Jericho, Randy Orton, everything was written and recited from a piece of paper. I don't understand that logic. Why do you think Austin, The Rock, Jake Roberts, CM Punk, Mr. Perfect, why do you think they were some of the best guys on the microphone? I don't understand the logic in these WWE higher-ups, all right? They're writing as if they are really playing the character of the WWE superstar. For example, do you think Steve Austin and The Rock went out there and recited fucking scripts written by somebody else? You're going to give The Rock character. You're going to give the Steve Austin character to someone on the creative team. You're going to make that guy feel the Rock character and then give those thoughts from that guy's mind to The Rock? You think that's going to be good for television? Why do you think The Rock was so successful? Because The Rock had bullet points about what he wanted to talk about, and that's where The Rock was born, in front of the camera, on the microphone. And he turned out to be one of the greatest WWE superstars to ever lace up a fucking pair of boots. You can't have Triple H, Vince, and all these other goons write for their superstars. You got to get these guys out on TV to talk for themselves. Give them bullet points and let them run with the ball. Let them get with the flow of the program, the flow of the storyline. It would be more organic. Everything right now just feels so mechanical. It feels so manufactured that, it makes me roll my eyes. Punk was amazing at what he did. Austin was amazing at what he did. Bray Wyatt now. You think Bray Wyatt listens to anybody on the creative staff about what to write. Bray Wyatt writes his own promos. He feels the character. And that transitions into WWE TV on Monday Night Raw. When you see Bray Wyatt talk, you listen and you pay attention. When guys like Ziggler and Sheamus and Orton come off speaking in the microphone, it just sounds so robotic. They're reading from a memorized script written by somebody else. That's not Randy Orton I'm listening to. That's someone else's fucking thoughts. I want to hear what Randy Orton has to say. You know what I'm saying? Give these guys bullet points. Let them roll with it. Steve Austin talks about this so many times on his podcast. The art of the promo is dead. It's dead. You guys need to understand. Ziggler, Sheamus, Sandow, Orton, Jericho, all these guys, The Miz, they got to go out there and feel their own character. I don't want to read, I don't want to listen to a guy speaking. I don't want to listen to my favorite superstar speaking and know it's written by somebody else. I'm not listening to the creative guy. I want to listen to Orton. You know? You get what I'm saying? That has to change. I think that would be a lot better off for WWE programming. All right? Truthfully, this report adds, this adds great fuel to the fire of the debate regarding WWE feeling far too manufactured and overproduced. All right? This is a huge reason that professional wrestling had a boom in the first place. It was spontaneous. All right? It was on the fly. You never knew what was going to come out of somebody's mouth. It's tough to be entertaining when you're not fully allowed to be yourself or use the reactions of the crowd to your advantage. There was one interesting moment in Raw, though, that was apparently unscripted, and that was John Cena giving Seth Rollins an attitude adjustment onto the announcer's table while having stare down with Triple H. That spot is simply never mentioned in the script, although the face-to-face showdown is. Hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let me know what you think about scripts being too overproduced. Let me know what you think down below, all right? Talk is Jericho. I'm finally getting through the Batista one. Batista sounds like a great dude. Very, very nice interview. I'm almost done with part 1. I got to listen to part 2. But on the Talk is Jericho podcast, Batista told Chris Jericho that Daniel Bryan, this is another thing that fucking pisses me off, Daniel Bryan wanted to sell his shoulder injury on Monday Night Raw from the 2 matches he had at WrestleMania. Batista said that Bryan was told that the fans don't care or notice things like that. So he was told not to sell the shoulder injury. Jericho and Batista said that fans are a lot smarter than WWE gives them credit for. The situation is similar to how Cena was portrayed the night after beating after he took a beating from Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Well, John Cena, you know, wasn't on TV. Obviously, that was a smart move. But then he came back a week later. Everything's all right. He's promising things. I'm going to beat Lesnar, blah, blah, blah. The guy should have came in with fucking a neck brace, fucking tape on his arm. Should have been coming, walking out on crutches. That did not happen. But the WWE really takes the fucking audience for granted. Listen. You know, it's got to have some sense of realism to it, man. I know it's a scripted program. I know the outcomes are determined. But you got to fucking just ingrain a little dash of realism in there. I don't want shit like that, man. Daniel Bryan, from the beating he took at WrestleMania, he got stretchered out. Of course, he should have, you know, sold that injury. He should have came in with fucking crutches. He should have been all bandaged up with his shoulder. I don't understand why WWE just doesn't go that extra mile to make you, the viewer, believe what you seen the night before is Daniel Bryan really getting his ass kicked, yet he's still overcome, and the guy's got to be injured. I don't understand that. I just don't. And finally, guys, to end this week's part 1, one person close to the situation noted to Dave Meltzer that the one big difference between NXT and Raw and SmackDown is that NXT is largely written by one person. Ryan Ward writes the show with help from Chris Chambers. Those names may be out of date, but the gist is that it's one guy writing the show and not a bunch of people like they do for WWE's main shows. That explains why NXT shows are easier to watch and the storylines are more consistent. The wrestling on NXT isn't always exciting, save for the quarterly special shows, but the consistency with storylines and the faster-paced one-hour show helps a ton. Essentially, the NXT show does a lot better at getting you excited for the next week's show. That's all you need to understand about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. These shows are written by many, many different minds. There's many thoughts going into one Monday Night Raw. They really need to scale that down to truly who belongs. Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince. All right? If you limit the creative writing to just a few people, get rid of the fucking team, fire them, budget cut them, get rid of them, whatever you got to do. You don't need fucking 15 creative writers writing each segment of Monday Night Raw. You don't need it. It's like each guy on the creative team has one block of Monday Night Raw. One guy writes the Divas segment. One guy writes the Miz's segment. One guy writes Randy Orton's segment. One guy writes Paul Heyman's segment. One guy writes the main event. You can't have that, man. You can't have that. It's like fucking editing a 3-hour fucking video on YouTube, getting everything right, putting music, putting fucking annotations and cuts and edits in the fucking in the video. It's all fucking out of sync, man. It just makes for a sloppy fucking program. One guy writes NXT. That's all you need to know about that. The same mentality needs to be brought over to the main shows. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If WWE had Vince and Triple H primarily writing the shows, everything would be a lot better. It's all got to go through Vince anyway. Vince has got to okay it. He's okaying trash. If he wants to really put his stamp on it. If he wants his son-in-law to get the business eventually when he's done. Give Triple H the power to just plan out the show. I don't understand it. I want one or a handful of guys writing the show instead of fucking 20. That's what I want. I really hope the WWE comes to their senses and this kind of information gets out. You know? And I got news on Vince Russo writing a letter to Vince, Stephanie, and Hunter about how terrible Monday Night Raw is and the creative thought behind everything. I'll read that sometime this weekend. He wrote a long letter. I'm going to read the entire letter to you. Vince Russo is criticizing Monday Night Raw for being a piss-poor fucking program. There's no order to it, man. It's not the way they operated back in the Attitude Era. Things need to change, and Monday Night Raw really needs to start producing quality television. The Monday Night Raw that we've seen on Monday, that ain't Raw. It's trash. That is trash. To the point where I say I can't last a 3-hour Raw, there's a problem. I'm the biggest WWE guy that there is. Things need to change. The creative process really needs to be dwindled down to just a handful of people. I hope the WWE actually thinks about this and puts it into action. But I know I rambled on for a lot, guys. I made it more like a podcast. I gave this one a little podcast feel. I had a lot to say about the big stories regarding Brock Lesnar and Monday Night Raw and, these guys, losing the art of the promo. Hope you guys enjoyed everything this week on part 1. Let me know what you think down below of everything I talked about. Leave a like on your way out the door. It greatly helps out my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back in part 2. CM Punk and his lawyers sent a 22-page document to Stamford, Connecticut, hit Vince's desk, filing them with lawsuits because CM Punk wants his fucking money. I got the big news on that. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be back on Saturday afternoon. If you enjoyed, like I said, leave a like on your way out the door. It greatly helps out my channel. And I will see you guys for Saturday's Part 2 edition of Off the Script number 29. This is JD, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.